right, I'll call this meeting of the Board of Appeals to order. We have a few items that we want to handle before we get into the real business of the night. First of all, gentlemen, were any of you out to see any of the properties before us tonight?
No. Saw 3 and 4.
Greg saw 3 and 4. Did you speak with anyone regarding the variance requests before us tonight?
No.
And do any of you expect to not vote on any of the items tonight?
No. No.
Yes. Okay, we can deal with that when we get to that item. Regarding the agenda, I guess, does anybody have any comments on it? If not, we'll assume that it's appropriate for our activities tonight.
The only question I had is, do we want to move the order around at all? There's some that seem a little bit more in depth. Do we want to just leave it as is, or?
Yeah, I think we'll leave it as is. It's been published this way. so,
Okay. All right.
I don't see any real reason for it right now.
All right. Motion to approve.
Okay,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, we're good on the agenda. Let's talk about the minutes from the last meeting, December 17th. Anybody have any comments, actions to be taken?
Make a motion to approve the minutes from December.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion to accept the minutes from the last meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
4-0. All right, now we can get down to the regular business. We have Mr. Burdale from the remodeling shop.
Hi.
Yes, sir. I see there's been a new calculation for us to consider.
Yes.
We won't jump ahead, we'll let you make your case for what you're proposing to do and the variance that you believe you still need to do.
Okay, well, as we had talked last time, I think the group felt that there was a little bit more that we could do to get rid of more concrete to get to that 50% level. So what I did is I went back with the customer. Like I had mentioned, she had that large gazebo on a concrete and patio set. So what we did was just kind of laid it out as if we were all sitting there and the chairs were pulled out a little bit. So we reduced that large patio area almost by half. And then also eliminated the concrete coming around the side of her house. On the, I guess it would be the south side of her house. So we eliminated the concrete here, and then we eliminated another 200 square feet of concrete. That was part of her patio that she was trying not to get rid of. What we plan to do is just go back and fill that with landscape rock and some shrubs and that type of thing. It gets us down to, I think it was 51.7% from 61%. The only other thing we could think of is coming along, the entire driveway and cutting a foot off the driveway, but there's already a lot of saw cutting that she's, covering, so I'm kind of hoping to avoid that. The second part of it is being so close, I'd hate to have different interpretations about how the impervious space is measured, if I'm working with the building inspector to try to hit, that 50%. So I guess I like to feel that a little bit of leeway with having a variance, that if I'm trying to hit that 50% and maybe an inspector thinks that I measured it wrong or something like that, I just don't want any borderline issues that come up halfway into excavation of the project.
Right, the point is that you're presenting us with a plan that in good faith you expect adheres to the numbers that you provided us.
That is correct, yes.
And so I understand your concerns.
And if you notice, I changed the number on the driveway because I had improperly calculated that the first time around.
Okay, and the variance you were originally requesting was dependent, the only variance you needed was the green space, right?
That is correct.
Pervious surface. So the question before us now is whether there's, I guess we'll let the questions from the rest of the gentlemen up here go before me. I'm okay with what you've got here. I understand what you've done. Tommy, Greg, Jim, do you have any further questions for the applicant?
As I understand it, you went from 60 to 51.7. Is that the essentially backed off about
Yeah, I think it
over
was
8%?
Yeah, I think it was 61%. It's a total of 351 square feet of additional concrete that we're removing. And then I had a math error of approximately 150 square feet.
Okay.
Is the map, you said, so I'm tracking everything you're doing down here. Where is this one tracking right here? The 1970 to the 1666?
That is correct, yes.
Was that just the math error?
No, the driveway portion of it was item 4.
Yep.
I think I originally had 1,000 some square feet when I proposed it last time.
No, I'm just trying to, this all tracks, that makes sense. You're gonna cut out a bunch of concrete here to reduce that bucket, right?
Right.
This one though, the house, the existing structures is at 1970.
Oh,
You're using math at 1666.
Yeah, we're reducing the patio, so that's why we're going from 1970 to 1666.
That's the concrete piece that you're telling me you're removing?
Yes.
Oh,
Yep.
got it. And the one that you submitted, the driveway math was incorrect.
Correct.
That's not the reduction you're talking about.
Right.
Okay.
So the driveway is still the same measurements, I just, I think I had added that the apron on twice.
Okay. Perfect. I just wanted to see them, show me the map, that's all. Cool. I have no questions.
Okay. Jim, Greg, good?
There's a sidewalk shown on this corner,
Yes.
and that, I'm looking at the photo, that gives access to a doorway or this walkway.
Yeah, her front door is actually a side on that corner there.
Over here,
Well, that's actually some kind of screen porch, but she's right on this corner right here. This
there's a
where-
door,
Yeah.
okay. Oh, I see.
So that leads to the front door, basically.
Yes.
I get it.
Okay, I hear no more questions. If you could have a seat, we'll talk this over. Thank you. Thoughts, gentlemen?
I mean, I feel like this is what we recommended last time we were at, is remove the concrete patio area, right, get as close as you can to that 50%.
Yep.
We're there.
It's very close. I appreciate the effort that the applicant has gone through. He's still above, but he's certainly a lot better than he was, so I'm okay with this too.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. You made a good effort.
Yeah.
It's really close, so.
They're going through the effort to make the cut and remove the concrete, so that's what we asked.
Okay, a motion to be in order.
Make a motion to approve the variance requested with, as requested per the proposal of 51.7% pervious surface.
Second.
I want to make sure we get this the
Yeah.
way that the applicant was concerned that if a more detailed calculation results in something other than 51.7.
Sure.
If there's a way we can
I would say.
present this,
As he's proposed with the, the approximate calculation of
yes.
51.7%, but, that is in good faith is going to execute this plan.
Right.
Is my concern.
Your motion then is for us to approve the variance with the modification as presented to us.
Correct.
And your second would be the same.
Correct.
All in favor?
Aye.
4-0. You got it.
Thank you.
Next up would be Mr. Vandenbush and Paula Reynolds. Looking at a driveway issue. Can you explain why you believe you need to...
Well, just the restrictions of the driveway is making it intolerable to work around. Actually, I do work from home, so I am coming and going all the time. The car is my work vehicle. My truck is my personal vehicle. Last time we were here, you guys wanted just dimensions of everything that we wanted to do, which I got. And there was, I looked at, what other options we could do in that little triangle piece there. If we can work something out for up by the garage, we can get that piece.
I thought you wanted to widen your driveway.
Not the whole thing, it was just that area there.
Oh, that's right, you were gonna do this further back.
Yeah.
I see, okay. So you're offering to get rid of that as being not particularly necessary for your project.
Yes.
Which part, the one by the garage?
No, this little triangle piece here
Yes.
on the right side of the picture.
Oh, okay.
If the truck isn't there, it's not needed to be there. As our driveway is wide enough to get one car up into it.
So you just want to do the part back by the garage?
Yes.
That's it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Could you explain the issue that Alderman Scannell brought up? There's an issue with the lot line. I don't know if you want to speak to it, or if the Alderman would care to speak to it, but...
When we looked on the city mapping screen, if you can pull that up,
Yeah, I saw that too.
that there's two blue lines there.
Yeah.
Last time we were here, when I first submitted my proposal, I was told it was an easement on the line. But when we were here, you guys were unsure if that was the case. So as it's shown, the neighbor's garage does come over that first blue line on the northern side.
It looked to me like it was an issue with that neighborhood. I don't know if that's, if there's any, Paul, do you have any guidance on this? I noticed there was another parcel nearby that had another double line on it. And I guess, I assume it's just, we just don't really know, and there's reason to believe that it could be either one.
Well, the graphics that we provide through GIS are pretty accurate, but sometimes there's some mapping errors possibly. Ultimately, it's up to the applicant to provide that information if the board wants to see that. If there's a survey or something to that extent, we can't guarantee the lot line, that's something
Right,
the
I understand.
applicant has to produce. So we really couldn't comment on if that's valid or not without some sort of survey documentation.
Mr. Scannell, did you want to speak to this?
Yeah, thanks. I just, Taylor invited me to his house and showed me what the whole scoop was. And I think what he's asking for is pretty reasonable. He's just trying to do the bare minimum that would help his business, because he runs a business from home, yeah, thanks. Sorry. So by making this change, we're not only improving his home, but also his business, making it easier for his business. And we don't want, people driving on the ground, on the lawns. And it seems to me that even if we don't take out the triangle at the front, which I know you like as well, we're not really adding that much more. And considering that if the lot lines are off, this wouldn't even be an issue, So, and as I detailed in the email I sent, or forward it to you. I mean, there's a lot of good reasons here that, you know, I think he meets the exception. So,
Okay, thank you. I
yep, thank you for
appreciate the
everything.
comments.
I gotta run to council.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yep, good luck.
Yeah, I learned a lot from the last time I was here, because obviously this is the first time I've ever tried to do something like this. And you guys gave me some good feedback on what you guys wanted to see. And upon looking at it, I found it reasonable to move that triangle piece.
You don't use it, I guess what you're saying.
Yeah, it's just kind of there. It was there when even Paula lived there, so.
We may have asked you this before too, but what is the opinion of the neighbor whose garage you're gonna be right up against?
He's okay with it.
He's okay. I did not visit the property, but is it true that if there's a water issue, it drains toward you?
Currently, with the way it goes, because the driveway does need work, it's kind of sporadic on where it goes. A lot of it does go towards the house at the moment. Otherwise, the rest of it, down looking at the bottom part of the picture, the driveway does go down, so anything from where the truck is pretty much, down towards the road starts going that way.
Did you have any other comments on this one, Paul?
Just from staff are concerned about the proximity to the garage.
Yeah.
And vehicles turning in that area. I think it's a lot line issue. I think that's maybe something that should be clarified. That's our opinion.
So what's the variance for going,
Beyond the 2.5 feet. So
Oh.
from the property line, be a 2.5 foot setback, green space to the edge of that pavement.
gotcha, and there's a possibility that the actual lot line is 2.5 feet away, or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's kind of limbo if he actually needs a variance or not. But there is a structure there, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
According to the mapping that was shown, the lot line, that first original blue lot line would be right where the edge of his actual garage door is. Right
Okay.
in there.
Okay. Gotcha.
And just to speak to its case, if you put that lot line diagram back up, I guess it doesn't show on there, but the gentleman's lot, or the applicant's lot, goes all the way, it's like twice the size of what we've got there. And as you get past the garage, his garage, which is just cut off in the lower right, it reverts to the lot line that I think you're generally assuming could be the real one. Is that something that you can bring up, Paul? In other words, it would have to come from the Brown County mapping that would, there we go. So you can see that if his lot line was contiguous, that he would then get the credit for the extra room on the left side of his driveway as he drives in, which would reduce the amount of variance he's requesting. So we don't really know which is which. But I'll point out to you that there are some funny jogs in the way these back lot lines are as we crawl down to the lower right-hand corner. I think we've just got some uncertainty in the mapping process that we seem to have run across these a few times. What we're doing is totally extrapolating into something we don't know. The only correct way is, as Paul was alluding to earlier, is to get a surveyor out there. But I guess I'm just pointing out to the rest of the people up here that the jog, if he's going to interpret it in his favor, there's an argument to be made for it, that the lot line should be contiguous from the back. So you're proposing to make it wider around the gentleman's garage to your left as you drive in, who you will argue is okay with it. And you're proposing to take out that little bit up at the front. How much wider are you bringing it, and I guess how much do you really need?
So,
I'll tell you what, I'm hesitant to have you go all the way to the guy's garage.
okay. Well, given the fact that, there are mirrors on vehicles, and the mirrors on the truck, for instance, I think they're all maybe 6 inches from the actual side of the vehicle. So, I mean, if need be, it wouldn't need to go all the way to his garage, and we'd be able to leave a little bit of green space there.
Okay. Tommy, Greg? Jim?
Just the use of it, so I'm trying to uncover, so the hardship is created, so it's a use hardship. And the hardship is created because of moving vehicles, is that the idea?
Yes, I come and go from home multiple times a day. It's not the standard.
delivery,
Yeah,
food
I
service.
run food deliveries right now, so I come and go maybe 10, 15 times a day.
Adding the concrete on the back half doesn't solve the issue of getting past, like you have a photo in there where there's 2 cars side by side and then you're driving over the grass. And I remember that was part of the point earlier on the first one, was being able to not drive on the grass, which then turns into mud. So adding on the back part of the garage, how does that get us to what your intended use is?
Go back to that picture, or
Yeah, the truck would then be
Back there.
parked there along the neighbor's garage, which would allow me enough room between the truck and the house to get by without ever having to go onto the grass.
All right, Jim? Okay, if you could have a seat, we'll talk it over. Is there anyone else here that wishes to speak for or against this item? All right. Your comments, gentlemen, your thoughts?
I have the same concern as, that you expressed, going way up to the garage or all the way up. I would be okay with somewhere in between, leaving some green space between the garage and the driveway, the additional, so if this is what he's proposing, I would vote no, but I'm open to a suggestion on putting something in there, maybe a foot or something to that effect. A couple feet or whatever, to leave some space in between that garage and the driveway.
Tommy?
I think for me, especially going through the training that we went through, I feel like while the hardship is we have a unique property situation that creates a hardship, right? I think we all ask questions around that. The use issue to me lends itself to more of a convenience. And as we've gone through, it's reaffirmed kind of my feeling. I think I voted no on this last time, and I'm going to vote no again. It's a difficult thing, cars and buildings that have been built certain ways makes it difficult. We've seen a lot of them, but at the end of the day, as we learned, the variance goes with the property, the land, not the individual. This seems to me, yes, it's frustrating, I get it. But it's more of a convenience than it is a hardship. So I'm going to vote no.
Jim?
Because of the property line issue, I think I agree more in terms of what Greg said. I think if there's the edge of the concrete is a foot off the existing building, I'd be willing to go along with it.
A foot is what I have in mind.
Okay, and I understand what Tommy's saying,
Yep.
and I'm just shy of that.
So what we seem to be revolving toward is requiring you to be a foot away from the garage.
I think I can make that work.
All right.
It should still allow me enough room to get through. And like I said, with the mirrors on the truck, I mean, in essence, there really is no need to go straight to the garage.
Yes, and the mirrors are in the air, and the real concern is the wheels on your truck.
That would be correct.
And Tommy's alluding to the training that most of us had earlier last week, and I guess we've been educated a little bit on where some of the issues go regarding giving variances. They also told us that we're not supposed to negotiate, or that we shouldn't, but we do have, in fact, Mr. Hanson, who's sitting in the front row, advised us at one time that we do have leeway with regard to putting constraints and putting qualifications on. So I assume what I'm hearing tonight is, and Mr. Hanson had a previous life. What we're proposing, or what we're hearing from you, is that if we had your proposal as you've designed it for us, but left a foot between the final concrete and the neighbor's garage, I think we would be okay. Have I stated that correctly? I don't know
Yeah.
if Tommy's... And if that's the case, then I think either of the gentlemen on my right or left should make a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the variance with the exception that the applicant will leave a foot in between the garage and the pavement that he proposes to put down.
I second.
Okay, we have a motion made and seconded to approve the variance requested with the qualifications that Mr. Babcock has explained. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Okay, 3-1. You're good. Next up, suitably enough, is Mr. Hanson to talk about the Green Bay Packers.
Thank you, gentlemen. Yeah, we've got a project here. Basically, there was two good-sized marquees, one on South Oneida before the Johnson Tailgate Village went up. I think we've got, do we have the dots? Yeah, there we go, the dots. Those are the locations of them. One on Lombardi. The one on Lombardi is currently there. The one on South Oneida was the one that was taken down with the expansion of the promenade and the Johnson Tailgate Village. So those two items went up. We moved things over. We moved some parking spots. Put some signage. I'm not sure if the signage issue on I think the signage issue on the Johnson Tailgate Village went to the Plan Commission, not here. This one's coming here. It's signage on Lambeau Field. There's certain rules on it, but it's such a unique property that trying to fit this into that hole is difficult, okay? And so what goes on here, just to give you some background on, so this has been discussed inside the walls of Lambeau for probably a year and a half. Okay, and they've got a signage committee, and there's a whole bunch of members on that signage committee, and they try to do everything they can to, number one, keep up with the technology. The screen there will be new technology. We replace our screens in the stadium frequently. Try to give it a good look with the G there. It'll be a photo opportunity for public. Everything that's around there is, you know, the Lambeau Leap thing is a photo opportunity that's there. People are constantly taking photos of the one on Lombardi, standing there. Be a much better photo op for them to stand there with a big G. We put the G in there. It is a little bigger structure than it was before, but we think it's proportional, okay? Based on the size of Lambeau Field and the expansions and everything else going on. It's gonna be basically a directional sign, going to give people information on what's going on at Lambeau Field, so it's informational. We get a lot of people coming from the public that are, never been there before, and we really do think it's beneficial to have it on both sides. And honestly, this has been studied and restudied and looked at and re-looked at, and tons of meetings internally on this thing, and we're looking for approval.
So what specific variances, Paul, are we being asked to grant?
All right, there's three of them. The height of the structure, the overall square footage, and the size of the changeable copy.
Everything.
Pretty much everything, right?
Is this just for both, or are we only in the game on one of those two red dots? I got a little bit confused on that.
I think you're in the game on both.
Okay. Now, you mentioned a plan commission discussion of some of this, or is that another?
That was another day, another time.
That was another,
That's
that was
in the
another,
past.
yeah, that was signage on the JTV, but we took care of that.
Yeah, there's some rough top
Yeah.
type signage that we had to address.
You know, again, I think we've been here on other type things with Lambeau Field and the other, well, it's such a unique property, and that's why I keep coming in front of the board on this thing.
Yeah.
Now's the time to ask this question, but I'll ask anyway. Is there been discussion about, I mean, I'm assuming the reason why he's here for a lot of these things, because he's zoned commercial. There's no like stadium zone that can be created, since it's clearly going to be here for a long time.
Right,
and-
so Lambeau has a public institutional zoning, which is like what we use for our parks. I mean, part of this is the city of Green Bay, but it's morphed into much more than that over the years. It's never really truly been addressed from a zoning perspective. Probably would have been beneficial to have a PUD or something over it, a plan unit development to help control the growth and proportion of that site. Instead, it's been kind of chosen to come back through the board through the years. Right or wrong, that's how it's been addressed.
But is that something, back to what we were talking about with like the smaller things with driveway widening, is that something we can loop back up and say, hey, I mean, every time he has to pay a fee and then come through for a sign they want to hang up because it doesn't fit within those zoning ordinances?
I think it could. I'm not sure how much more Lambeau Field's going to change or the campus is going to change over the years. If we knew there were going to be dramatic changes, we might consider that. But I guess Jerry and I can have a side discussion about that.
Yeah, I think we've talked about that in the past, that, you know, it's almost easier to just come up here on these one-offs, pay my fee, talk to you guys, say, look, we think this is a pretty good idea, and hopefully we get your stamp of approval, rather than try. I don't think we'd ever come to an agreement on what a PUD would look like at this point. Because right now, for instance, like, we're doing so every time, if we had that, we'd have to, right now in the process of, there's a site plan and bumping out a security building because of the security breach that we had in part coming into the side there where a car got in. A new security building is going up at that place to prevent any of these issues. So there's going to be a big, not a big bump out, but another bump out from the loading dock on the security building. So it's one of those places I've been with it for, I've been with the Packers for now 10 years, and it amazes me that every year there's another project. You know, it's just, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well,
This seems to be the simplest solution for this work.
if it weren't us, it would be the plan commission or the council.
Council. And they haven't provided us that feedback, like, you should create a PUD to help. I guess the parties have been an understanding of what's going on. That's been the route that's been chosen here, so.
Yeah.
Again, right or wrong, that's been the path.
Right. And no one has had okay, so you guys, any decisions here can be appealed by the city. We could appeal your decision. We understand the process, both sides understand the process that's going on. And we just keep plugging forward on this process.
For the record, what is the hardship that you believe that the Packers organization would endure if we did not grant this variance?
I think it would be a public interest, guest experience hardship, directional signage is proportional to the size of the place. So I think it's a public interest, guest experience hardship. I think it's a hardship to the public.
Okay. Further questions, Tommy, Greg? Jim?
Is there with regards to the different zoning, is there a different requirement on a commercial? I mean, would this be an issue if it was commercial?
It would be the same issue. And I think the only way to really address the zoning would be through some sort of plan unit development. Because it's so unique to the community and to other properties that we can't build an ordinance that would address all the growth or change on that campus. It's not uncommon to have PUDs, Bellin Hospital, other major developments that are just so unique that are constantly changing. That would be the only mechanism I could think of.
It's interesting to me because I would think that the Packers were here before those hospitals, right? I mean,
Not
I've only been here for 2 years, so.
Not
but
Bellin. I mean, this goes back to '57, so.
I would think that that would be, I don't know, I'm just curious. That to me seems like the most obvious thing is that there should be a plan. There should be.
I would not disagree with you on that. I think if we had to do it all over again, that's what I would recommend, but, you know, some of the stuff we inherited through the years, and it's kind of been a ball that's been rolling down the hill, so, again, right or wrong, it's kind of a circumstance, and the way we've been handling these situations.
It's right on the border between Green Bay and Ashwaubenon. You don't want to open that can.
Oh, yeah.
There's a picture of a Rush Center sign.
I didn't include that one here, but.
Oh, okay. It's within a couple inches of the height of this sign, or these signs. What did that sign go through? Is that in Green Bay, or is that in Ashwaubenon?
It's in Ashwaubenon.
Okay.
And I put that in there just to show you a comparable property next door has it. We're within a couple inches of this thing. It's not going to look out of proportion. That's why I do that.
Yeah, as I've explained before, the sign ordinances are tough. Dealing with the Packers just makes it tougher. And I can appreciate that in the normal scheme of things, we probably aren't the right people, but if it ain't us, it's just gonna make it more complicated. So it's one of those little artifacts of the way the world is developed, that we have these questions before us. If you could have a seat, Mr. Vincent, I think we have enough information to make our decision. Your thoughts, gentlemen?
I don't have any problem with it.
Go ahead, Tommy.
I can completely appreciate the dynamics of the Packers and Green Bay and the unique relationships of the two entities. I do think it is interesting that a city and a very, very, very large organization hasn't come together, whether it's politics or willingness to work with Green Bay or whatever the circumstances. I would recommend at some point that those large organizations should be landing here. And I feel like that's kind of the least amount of resistance is landing here. And I think it's, for the sake of your time and everything, I think the city should have a plan. I think the Packers should have a plan. And I think they should all come together and say, look, this is what the next 10 years look like. So that it's not the Board of Appeals that's making landmark decisions for the entire community. So that's my comment. I think the sign's beautiful. I think it's a great addition. I agree with all the photography things. We've approved things for the Packers before with, temporary signs. The reason why I'm asking a little bit more questions and being a little bit more of a stickler is because this one's a permanent, whereas a lot of things that since I've been on the board and you've come before us have been temporary things. Hey, they're coming down. This is a permanent thing. And I 100% agree it's going to make the property look awesome and more attractive and stuff. It's just, I think that at some point, on the record, should be addressed. It's not going to be solved tonight.
Okay.
My justification for it, if you look at it purely from the variance perspective, notwithstanding the fact that we're dealing with the Packers, is that it's such a unique property, probably the most unique property in Green Bay. And so, from that perspective, I think that would justify the variance alone. So.
Yeah, I asked Mr. Hanson for the hardship, just because we had to make sure that we understood it. But I do agree that his point is a good one, and that reflects a reasonable hardship. You know, remember, part of our charter is to adjudicate decisions by the planning department, for example. It's outside of our variance scope. It's just another task we have been assigned. I think we should take things like this and the sign variances and things like that as being just maybe not a variance as much as having 4 or 5 people picked up to make these kind of decisions, make these. That's my theory. Well, I certainly think you're right. In the greater scheme of things, there should be probably a different process, but I'm not totally uncomfortable with the process. So I think a motion would be in order.
I'll make a motion to approve the requested variance.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion made and seconded to approve the variance requested for the signs at Lambeau Field. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 4-0.
Thank you, gentlemen. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Next up, Mr. Jankwart.
Yes, thank you.
This is the one I mentioned.
Okay, we will have a recusal on this one. You should probably sit back there.
All right, I'm John Jankwart with Brander Engineering. We were asked by Georgia Pacific to prepare drawings and specifications for resurfacing of the parking lot on the corner of Broadway and Lombardi in the southwest corner. As part of the project, we've got a future expansion that Georgia Pacific is looking at. And the real purpose of the replacement right now is the parking lot's really deteriorated, and they want to maintain a safe place of employment with all the potholes. So as they're doing this project, they want to make it safer, they want to make it more secure, and they want to look down the road. So they've got a future driveway that's south of the building where they're going to have a one-way sometime in the future for all the semi-trucks, and then that'll turn right along the south side of the buildings and then out, and then to the east of that detention pond that's up in the upper left-hand corner. That'll be extended as part of the project for stormwater management, and they'll have future trailer parking in there as well. As you can see, we've got berms going along the perimeter of it, and those are essentially compressing our parking area a little bit. And the purpose of the berms is Georgia Pacific competes with all the other 152 paper mill facilities for GP. And they are trying to separate pedestrian traffic from semi-truck traffic as best they can, and they want a physical barrier there. So the berms are going to go around the perimeter of the property, and that'll be 3 feet high by 20 feet long, and they'll also serve as a landscape island. The hardship here is really the property. Not only are we compressed, we're trying to maximize parking. That parking lot is filled 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The mill never shuts down. And then snow removal in the parking lot becomes a big issue with the cars in it. So we're looking to get away from the landscaped islands, and as well as the driveways on the north end of the parking lot. We'd like to have those increased as well to give us more room in and out. Eventually, they'd like to put a gate there to stop traffic from coming in. We're not far from Lambeau Field, and what happens on Packer Sundays is people go in there and tailgate, and then they leave their cars there, and then take one car trip down to the Lambeau Field. So GP's looking to make it a little bit more secure down the road. They want to increase the driveway so they'll have gates, and then they'll have little readers on the car. They're fully automated, so as you show up, the gates go open. So that's the plan.
We're talking about, just from my understanding.
Sure.
We're talking about this parking lot right here.
Correct.
That's really the only parking area that we're talking about?
Well, you got it's all part of another plan, right? So,
But-
I think we're looking at this as well, otherwise I'm gonna be in here for another variance for the semi-truck parking.
You mean
lot
this
as
thing
well.
up here?
To the left too, that's all part of it. So down the road, we wanna
So
say
maybe you
you're.
could show me
Sure,
more
yeah,
of
yeah.
your,
Yeah.
I understand what you may be doing here.
Yeah.
I understand you're looking for some wider driveways, but maybe
Yeah,
you could.
right here's the wider driveway, so we have
Right.
one here and
Yeah,
here.
they're in there.
Okay, and then what the plan is is this would be phase one to go in this year. It'd be all the berms, all the storm sewers, everything back to the detention pond to get our stormwater management. And then year two, we'd have our, say, 2020, we're gonna put the driveway in here and then semi-trailer parking in here as well. So,
Now, these are landscape places, right? What does that represent?
that's just a no parking zone, and then the
Oh, okay,
pedestrians.
okay.
The pedestrians are gonna be put into the side here, and then they'll be strict that they can't cut through the parking lot, they're gonna have to be in here and then come out and cross the middle over this
So,
direction.
so your point here for pedestrians isn't public, it's your employees.
It's correct, the employees, with 20, I think 3,000 of which are Green Bay citizens that work at
And they're always coming and going.
Georgia Pacific.
Now, this is an existing parking lot now.
Correct, yeah.
So,
So, Rick, yeah.
and these berms aren't there now.
Correct, they are not. Yep, so this is the parking lot now, and I think they moved the gates, you got semi-trailers here. We're gonna push that back, these railroad tracks are coming out, and that's where they want the new drive to come in.
Okay, then you replace the surface.
Exactly, yeah, because it's...
So it's not like you're not taking any green space out?
No, there's no negative, there's no green space, matter of fact, we'll be adding green space.
Yeah, well, that's the point that I think that I didn't realize until.
Yeah, we're having quite a bit of green space.
To the extent that the landscape islands in the ordinance are for a concern about stormwater runoff and just having enough soak-in space.
Oh, yeah, this is all being modeled and going through the stormwater management plan.
Yeah, but you've also, I mean, the reason you're really here is because the berm has taken out a whole row of parking spots for you. Is that correct?
Well, we want to maximize the parking spots, so we'd be after the variance if the berms were there or not. I think that.
But the berms have taken away room on your parking lot.
Yes,
Yeah.
but the good, I guess the good news about the berms is they're going to be 3 feet high, so the expansive view of the parking area, which is the whole idea of landscape islands as well, you're not going to be able to see it as you're driving down the road. You're going to see the berms. We're not going to have fencing there. I know, I've been to these variance boards before, and I know fencing, you guys don't like to see around property. So this is going to be another way to secure it without fencing, and also give us a physical barrier as well between vehicles and pedestrians.
So the purpose you've explained is to concentrate the flow of people walking in and out of that parking lot, essentially to the back. Is that the purpose of the berm, or am I really missing something?
No, okay, yeah, maybe, let me try it. So, there's a big concern, they've got 152 mills, so 2 or 3 people, I think, last year were killed by semi-trailers, okay? Not in Green Bay, all over. So there's a very big push to get physical barriers between semi-trailers and pedestrian traffic. So they want a berm right here, something physical. So just say a guy's texting and not watching where he's going. He doesn't cross over through a fence and kill somebody else. They'll at least hit this berm, he comes back on track, okay? They've got the same thing with the amount of truck traffic coming down here, and then this is also going to be trailer traffic as well here. So that's a big purpose of the berm, and the other one is for security. I mean, just to make the parking lot more secure for their employees, rather than going with fences, go with the berm. And then, like I said, they'd be having gates here, you know, essentially to bring it up and down. So I think it's kind of a, to be honest with you, it's a, in my opinion, I've been doing this for 29 years. I think it's a great idea from the fact that you're getting away from the fence with the barbed wire on the top, you know, which was the other way to do it, perimeter security that you've seen in the past for parking areas. And we've taken a lot of that out over the years at Broadway. You don't see, and even at the Georgia Pacific Day Street here, you don't see a lot of fencing with barbed wire anymore like you did back, you know, in the 90s. So I think that's, and it's, I'll be honest, it's more expensive for them to do that, no question about it, to build the berms. So, and it gives you a buffer between the public and the facility. And you're zoned industrial all the way across the board here. So.
You're gonna put landscaping on the top of these berms.
It's gonna be mobile grass right now, is what it is. Yeah, so it'll be more green space than what we.
When you put that berm in, right now, there's asphalt there.
Correct, yeah.
Does that go down to the dirt then?
The asphalt comes out, everything's
Okay.
getting stripped, yeah.
So you've got water drainage from the top of your berm all the way down.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm trying to make your case for you that I
Yes.
think you may not have made.
Okay, yeah, help me out. Yeah, the berm's gonna be 20, what is it, 26 feet wide?
Yeah,
So-
but you have a parking lot you'd like to fix.
Right.
There's no landscape islands in there or anything now.
Yeah,
The code requires that you put in these landscape islands, partly, and maybe mostly, because we want to have control of some way to have water. You've dealt with the water completely separately.
Right.
Which is fine. But this berm, it can be and probably represents far more water drainage, green space stuff
sure.
than you ever would have put in if you had not put the berm in and had put in all the
Landscape,
landscape.
you're right on the money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all right. So tell me where I'm wrong, Paul.
You want me to tell you that?
Yeah. What, if, you know, I came in here tonight not being too sure about this one, but isn't the point, there's 2 points of the landscape islands in the middle of parking lots. There's the permeable surface
Yep.
absorbent thing, and then there's just the aesthetics. Is there any other that I'm missing?
No, I think those are it. Those are the obvious ones. The idea is to break up the pavement there and provide some maybe minimal stormwater management.
Which, with a parking lot and a facility this large, already has its own retention basin and all this other stuff. Okay, so then you also have this concern about the driveways. That the code, as you would otherwise have to,
Be narrower.
is this a 25, 35, or?
Yes.
Okay. You want it wider?
Yeah. And I think that helps too with the traffic on Lombardi, just getting the cars in and out quicker. I think the quicker the driveway, if you get people exiting at chip time, the longer the driveway, the quicker they can turn in and the less backup you're gonna have. So I think that's safety to the public.
Gentlemen, I've been blabbing up here enough. Comments, questions?
I think I understand you did a good job of explaining all of that stuff, but I think the driveway one, there's 3 variances, right? That we're talking about in one application, for this application, right?
We've got the,
Landscaping,
The interior landscaping, and technically the medians are part of that landscaping in the pavement, and then the width of the drives. So technically, there's 3.
and we have a bunch of, I don't know for him, but there was a lot of comments provided about the driveway part. And I think that's the part that I want to understand a little bit more.
Okay, sure. Fire away.
So what is the hardship specifically for the driveway width per?
well, the hardship is we're, well, going Lambeau Field, right? We want to install security gates there because we're in close proximity to Lambeau Field. And we want to stop Packer fans from parking in that parking lot. Georgia Pacific does, and then carpooling down. So to do that, we want to put gates on the outside and stop that, and then they're gonna have readers in the car, so then you got the reader in the dashboard, the gate opens, if you don't have the reader, the gate won't open. So, and that'll be,
So widening the driveway is specific just to the installing of the readers.
yeah,
In order to install those, you have to have a certain width. They won't fit at the coded length.
yeah, I mean, that's future down the road, right? Yeah, so they want islands, and they're gonna put conduit out there, they're not sure on exactly what they want yet, you know what I'm saying? They haven't done the research yet on this, and how they're gonna do it, but they want the future ability to put those in and have the appropriate width.
And the 2 driveways that we're talking about are just the driveways that enter this new parking lot with the berms and all that
That's
stuff?
right. That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
We've got 2 driveway widths we have to deal with, but you said there was really 2 other variances. You're not making 3 by using 2 for the individual driveways. What was the median? Maybe I misunderstood.
Yeah, when you go
Is
over,
that on the entry, or?
when you go over 100 parking spaces in a parking lot, you're required to provide a certain amount of size median, more of a substantial median throughout that. That might exceed that 5% requirement.
That's different from the landscape.
Right. That's an above and beyond requirement. So for example, you would have maybe a median that ran down the middle. Because you have so many parking spaces, like a given that you have this larger median that would break up that larger parking area. If the threshold's 100, I'm pretty sure there are over 100 parking spaces there. That's in addition to the 5%.
And the purpose of that, again, is
Large-
absorption?
Yes, aesthetic, yes.
Yeah, I mean, that's, the expansive appearance of the parking lot, that's the way the ordinance used to read for many years. But again, I think the boroughs are going to be taking that, the public's never going to see the inside.
Yeah.
I guess you could entertain the idea is that flip-flopping, instead of having it in the parking lot, now it's on the outside or perimeter of the parking lot.
That's
Again,
what-
I think the intent of the ordinance is to provide that in the paved, hard surface area, but you can interpret that as you wish.
Can you provide a refreshment of my poor memory on these driveway widths and the argument that indeed there can be too wide a driveway? That's what Mr. Hanson is making the argument on. He says there is such a thing as too wide of a driveway. Do they have is traffic making a specific objection then to the widening of those driveways?
I believe they are, yes.
There's another, I don't know, Don, you saw, it. There was another letter that Dave sent.
I've got this memo that he sent from himself to Paul.
It's this one here.
And there's another one, a second one.
And then you look at the Georgia Pacific area.
They're the same memo, just two different items.
When, in reading them, just for me, maybe I'm reading it wrong. One was more of like, hey, I know you guys are seeing a lot of issues with driveway widening.
Oh,
Here's a
right.
comment about driveway widening altogether.
Right, so
This
he-
is more specific to this one.
You're right, he did have a second memo that he actually drafted in like 2010 that talks about the general parameters of,
Yeah.
driveways and associated uses.
Yeah, this is the one that I think is relevant to the discussion for this.
This one here.
Yeah.
Right, he made a comment on each of those requests, this one and the
Correct.
one on Humboldt.
Yep, correct.
Again, I think you're going to have a lot of people coming in and out at the same time on this.
Yeah, for me, just so you know, we're reading the
Last
recommendations
people back.
from traffic on the driveways. It's hard for me to tell based, the other ones I think I understand, the berm, all that sort of stuff. The driveways, he's talking about like a median island for the driveway, so is there a closer picture of what the driveway is going to potentially look like? When he's saying a median, what is he talking about specifically there?
Right.
Can you show us, Paul?
That's that line that's right here, right in the middle of each of these drives. So it separates the two lanes of traffic here, so that's why they're wider, this little line here and here.
And he mentioned, so for you,
Yeah.
this is a concrete divider right
Yeah.
here, which is what's causing it to be wider, is you need that median to have that concrete, and that's where those theoretical stations are gonna
Right.
go in,
Yeah,
and they're gonna go like that,
you got it.
open up like that. Okay, open up to the middle. And that's the current design.
Right.
Is there a way to do it without in the middle and put the things on this side, and therefore it would shrink, so you can put the little guys on this side and this side?
Well, yeah, I'm sure there probably is, you could skinny it up, but then you keep in mind right now, you got snow removal, you got cars coming in and out both ways. So what's the ordinance at the bottom, at the end of the apron? Paul, do you know at the top? Is it 35?
It's technically 30. It's 25 at the property line. That's consistent with commercial and industrial drives. 25 feet at the property line. Then it flares out to 30 for domestic vehicles, so to speak, at the curb line. It can be widened to 35 feet for trucks or larger vehicles who need that additional turning radius.
And how far do you need to go?
We've got, at the apron, at the end of the apron, is it 35? Is that what you said? We got 44.
Well, 30, I mean, again, these are vehicles, domestic vehicles that are coming and going. They're not large
So
semi-trucks.
we're showing 44 is what we're showing. So you go from 30 to 44. But everybody at the mill essentially drives pickup trucks.
But of the 44, part of that's being taken up by the equipment in the middle of the drive. How much is that?
You got 32 feet going across, and then 44 at the end, at the bottom of the apron.
At the curb?
So, yeah,
The-
yeah.
And then there's,
So,
how much is this little guy in the middle here? Oh, 32 inches?
No, that'd be 32 feet going
Oh, I'm
across.
sorry, you don't really have
I don't
that measured.
dimension, no. Oh, no, I do, 8 feet.
Okay, so that brings you back to 36. Am I grasping at straws here, Paul? or-
Yeah, we're showing 8 feet as that.
I mean, isn't that right? That the 35 width that you just mentioned that we've kind of allowed for the trucks would be without anything in the middle.
Right. But this is for, those trucks are for like semis, correct? This is for just employee parking, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So your argument is that there may be some pretty big trucks from your place.
Well, you design these lots and I park in them, right? And I know I got a pickup truck, and I think everybody in the mill drives a pickup truck, just about. A lot of them are 3/4 tons, so.
Okay, yeah.
But, and we actually went oversize on our parking spaces to give them a little bit more room in here. And angled, and we got a lot crammed into this spot, so.
But shortening the driveway with that variance, that's not a, what, I guess I'm grasping at the need. What's the need?
The need is for future allowability of the gates to go up and down.
And if I'm understanding correctly, there's, I might get the math slightly off, but it was like 44 feet, and then 8 feet of the middle is the middle island?
Yeah.
So they need 8 feet for those machines? Seems like a lot. That was one of the questions. Are they planning on installing like a guard booth? Because that makes more sense. Because if you're installing a guard booth.
They're not gonna put, it's gonna be all automated.
Yeah. So is there room like in the plans to?
8 feet would be, you've got.
Because here to that wall, right? So then you gotta get access panels on the backside to work if you
Yeah,
gotta
it
get
makes
in there
sense.
and put your.
8 feet. Yeah.
So,
Wouldn't be, if there was a guard booth there, it'd be a lot more.
yeah,
Put it
no,
on a separate
I
way.
mean, we're not gonna go with the garden shack. They're gonna try and automate this as much as possible. That's their goal here.
Is that a make or break for the design of the parking lot, the driveway width?
Is it a make or break? No, I mean, they're gonna do this, the landscape islands will be more make or break, but I mean, they wanna put this in, and they just wanna allow for, I mean, they're always looking to the future to expand, right? Future expansion, it's hard to know exactly what the future is. They wanna give themselves enough room there to have that, so.
Okay.
Great. Questions?
No questions.
Well, I have more comments for us, but I don't have any more questions.
Okay, sir, I guess if you could have a seat, we'll talk it over. Thank you. Sure.
I think, Don, you did a good job of making the case for the first two variances. I think it's a public safety, I think it makes sense. It's, the water's being handled with the storm drains separately, so that's taken care of. I think I'm thumbs up from 1 and 2. 3, I don't feel a case yet.
For the wider drive.
No. No, so that's the only one I'm struggling with right now. I get the long-term vision. If I had a more detailed plan of what they were gonna do now, then I think I would say, okay, cool there. The hard part is if you say no to that, then you have to redraw the whole plan. So it's kind of, I would hate to approve something without knowing exactly what is the plan there. But if you say, like I said, if you say yes to 1 and 2 with the plan, then you kind of have to come back for 3 anyway.
Yeah. Greg, your thoughts?
I'm fine with the plan. I think it's well thought out. Increasing the green space. I think that lot, I mean, driving by the lot, I think that lot needs some work.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Just about every
and,
one in the city does.
Yeah, and it's an industrial area. And I'm looking at the recommendation from Dave Hansen. He recommends approve both driveways without the medians. I'm fine with it.
I am too. I'm okay with what's being proposed. And if you'd like to, Tommy, we can have voting on variances separately.
I mean, if you're,
We're both okay.
you've taught me this, if it's yes on 3, then I'm out, so.
Okay. Go ahead and make the variance motion, Greg, and I'll second it.
I'll make the motion to approve the requested variances, all of them.
As presented to us,
Correct.
and I'll second that. Then we'll vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Tommy?
Yes on 1 and 2, no on the third one.
Okay.
I don't know if I can split them out like that, but that's at least on the record.
At least on the record.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Okay,
gentlemen.
you got it.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Took us a while, but you got it.
So it's clear, it's just for that parking lot, correct?
Yeah.
That's-
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a good point. Is that okay to grab
Yeah,
that?
well, yeah, I wasn't,
Just for posterity, just that it's clear that it's just for the parking lot.
it's just for the variance requested for us here.
Yes.
You had mentioned coming back for other variances for something else, so
Well, I
that is a good
suspect-
point to make.
2 years down the road, it's gonna be hard to put, semi-trailers and put landscape islands in there. That's technically a parking lot that goes in it, and then.
Yeah.
So
But there will be a
we'll
need of-
need another driveway variance because of the so I'll be back here again
Okay,
in 2 years, so.
okay.
Okay,
All right,
thanks,
thank you.
guys,
Cool.
appreciate it.
Thank you. Mr. Hutchison can rejoin us. Yeah, the notion of having mitigation for environmental concerns is pretty common, so I think that part is okay.
Yeah.
I know we're gonna come up with this again, so this driveway thing is puzzling to me.
Just like signs.
Yeah. The signs, I just throw my hands up. All right, we don't need to keep these people waiting. Mr. Weisey? You have a widened driveway that you want to talk about.
Yes.
Have a chair and present your case.
All I'm looking is where it's tapered off at the end, they don't show the new addition on there. This is where they're showing that taper. I'm just looking at leaving it like that across there in front of those lilacs instead of cutting the lilacs down. The lilacs do a couple things is, first they stop right across the street from me is Stevens Street. So when all the cars come down Stevens Street, they're shining lights right between the houses. And it would normally shine back there. And then I put a basketball hoop right there on the flat spot there for the kids to play. And if I put that taper on there, you got that transition between concrete and grass, and I don't want them to end up spraining their ankle there.
Okay, so you had, or at least the city was under the understanding there was going to be a taper.
Yeah.
And that's why they approved the building permit
Yeah.
that you got. My question for you, because I didn't understand it, maybe it's perfectly obvious to everybody else. Is this what you did? In other words, what would
Yes,
have been
that's what I
tapered, you
did.
filled it in?
Yes, I kind of filled that in right up to the lilac
Okay,
bushes.
so it wasn't that you went to there,
Yeah,
and it was that you went all the way to there?
yes. Yeah, there's another 12 feet to where the sidewalk would be on the driveway.
Okay.
From where I'm ending right there, where it's at now, there's another 12 feet that it could come forward yet before you would hit where there would be a sidewalk if there was one.
Okay, and I believe, Paul, you explained to us that the rationale of a taper, as the ordinance requires, is more aesthetic.
More, sure, and more green space channels the vehicles back into the thriller neck of the driveway.
So if we deny the variance, gentleman has some concrete to remove. How about,
Could he actually add a?
yeah, that was my next question. Tear them out, tear out the lilacs, and put a taper at the rest, taper back in from the corner? I mean, I don't know how close you are.
I mean, I could do that, but alongside the house there, if I keep my trash containers out there, then I'm breaking the rule where I ain't got a row of bushes blocking off the trash container and recyclable containers alongside the garage there.
Where's the basketball hoop?
Well, right now I got it taken down, but normally we set it up right here.
Oh, it's
And the
not,
kids play this way. Because otherwise that driveway's got a little kind of steep and the ball likes to roll over the road.
No, I like bushes.
This way the lilac bushes catch it and the ball isn't on the road 3/4 as much.
So other than the hardship of having to remove the concrete, your point was more to give those more room for the basketball court.
Yeah. And it was just to keep that concrete edge so that the kids ain't playing on that concrete edge between concrete and grass.
And you raise a point about the light from Stevens,
Yeah.
and that would be there's a hardship to you to take out the lilacs.
Yes, then I have.
And the hardship reflects in a way that you have light, but you also have lost a barrier to keep basketballs from rolling out into the street.
Yeah.
And we have to balance that against the issue that you put in more concrete than we gave you a permit for.
Yeah.
Questions, Tommy? Really?
no questions.
Okay. Tell I'm surprised.
I know. How far is the road from where the concrete comes
That's
to?
to right where it starts to taper, where
Yeah.
it's kind of showing about 24 feet.
Okay. And there's a downslope there, it looks like.
Yes, it slopes pretty steep from, it's not really steep, but it gets a basketball moving pretty quick.
So you'd have to take out that whole row there? Is that what we're looking at, the bushes?
Yes, if I
Okay.
were to run it closer up and down, up closer to the sidewalk.
Yeah. Okay.
Jim?
Is it taper, I guess, the issue I have is there was a plan and it wasn't followed. I mean, the city granted a permit and it wasn't followed. And, I mean, did you just?
Well, it's just the amount of the taper. I mean, it's tapered now like a foot. but-
Oh, it's tapered a little bit?
Yes, it's tapered about a foot.
Okay, so technically you tapered it?
Yes, just not to the.
Okay.
Their specification. They wanted 4 feet? 5 feet.
So we're talking not tapered now, we're talking not enough taper. Right? Okay. Okay.
Do we have what we think we need to know? You could have a seat, sir. We'll deliberate. So we're weighing the issue of aesthetics. That's really it, right? That and the fact
The
that
flow
General
of
compliance with the code, sure.
Yeah,
Oh, didn't you mention something with the flow going in?
yeah, I mean, I can see that.
Right.
Yeah, it's channels of vehicles.
Channeling.
It also kind of prevents it from being used as a parking spot, just as a way to make it clear that it's a driveway instead of, I mean, I can see that point. I mean, I can see the need for the, it looks better. But against that, we have the gentleman's arguments regarding the basketball
Kids
and
chasing
sight
after it.
lines and he's true. He's got Stevens like butting up. We can't, I don't know if you can see it from, not really.
Goes right in the driveway.
Stevens is like, he could almost drive straight out his driveway into Stevens. So there is, it's not like he's in the middle of a long road. I guess I'm okay with this, just because to me, the bushes and the Stevens issue are sufficient to outweigh my concerns about the aesthetics of it. So, unless you guys have some really good reasons, I think I'm voting okay. No, shut up and listen to me.
I'm kind of the same boat. If you take out those lilacs, and the slope of it, if these kids are out there playing, to me, that's a bigger concern than whether or not it looks, how it looks to me.
Yeah, and
You know what I mean?
it is going into a three-way intersection. So,
Right.
you know, we can't.
So I'm okay with it.
That's Jim.
Well, I would have absolutely voted against this if there was no taper, but there is.
On principle.
On principle, the fact there was a taper shown on the plans of the permit, but there's no dimension on but I'm sure it was thought to be a permittable taper, so. Boy, I'm like right on the fence.
I'll just say I'm a no. It's self-imposed, and I appreciate the use of the property, but as we learned, the variance travels with the land, not the people. And 5 years from now, basketball might not be a thing. And so that's why the codes or ordinance are there, and the permit was approved, with the correct taper. It wasn't installed that way, so, I mean, again, that's that heartfelt thing. You kind of have to remove in these decisions and say, we're not here to judge the person and that, we're to judge the law, if you will.
So to me, that's the hardship, is that it's not a heartfelt thing, it's a safety issue. So,
It's self-imposed. That's the big thing, is that the hardship can't be self-imposed. And the lot is usable as currently as currently built. If someone decides to build a patio without getting the right permits, that's a self-imposed hardship, just because they have to remove the patio if it doesn't fit.
Yeah, I think Tommy presents a reasonable argument. It's not one I agree with. It does depend, though, on if Greg and I are in favor. If Tommy and Jim are not, that's
Then what happens there?
it's denied.
Put you in the hot seat, Jim.
Yeah,
Swing vote.
I'll,
He's gonna make you the swing. Get some.
I'm gonna vote for it.
I'll make a motion to approve the requested variance.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion made and seconded to approve the variance requested by Mr. Weisey for his driveway on Bond Street. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
3-1. You're good.
Thanks, Mike.
Quick Trip. Long-suffering Mr. Osgood.
Well, you got the pitch hitter today. My name's Troy.
Oh.
Jeff couldn't be here, but
All right.
you got the back
All
of the
right.
day, so.
I'm sure it was a good request. Tell me what you'd like to do and why.
Sure. Thanks for the time this evening, gentlemen. Our proposal, we're looking to construct a new quick trip kind of in the northeast quadrant of town. And one issue we've encountered is, seems like since some recent stores that we built, there's maybe Paul might know the date or when this driveway issue came to be, but it seems like now there's a tighter restriction on the throw to the driveways. And in our experience operating these facilities, and with the deliveries we have for both fuel and for grocery and convenience items that we deliver in the store, the hardship we'd experience with a 25-foot driveway width at the property line is that you'd have a very unsafe condition for folks entering exiting the property, particularly when you have a car queuing to exit the site. The secondary items, that I think there were some pictures submitted just to show kind of the secondary item would be the damage to the property that you'd have with the trailing tires and wheels of trailer vehicles. Those tend to hop the apron areas and curb areas of narrow driveway openings. We submitted some pictures that unfortunately we've had experience with. One in particular, the first one I do know, is one where we acquired a station down in the Milwaukee suburbs. And that facility did have a 24-foot driveway opening at the property line. It's this picture here. I don't know if you've got it on your digital submittals or not, but I'll just pass out a hard copy old school wise. And that picture shows this particular condition where you'd have a 25-foot opening at the property line and a 35-foot flare at the street line. And as you can see with that, what's happening is folks are hopping the curb, causing damage to the terrace area. Obviously, you can see them going over the sidewalk area as well. So with that, obviously that isn't something we'd like to present to the city and have as a new facility in that area of town with a condition that provides that kind of condition and property damage. We also did just check to see kind of what's the comparable here. When we looked at a store that we acquired that was a Shell station down on East Mason in Huron, just to kind of see what the driveway widths are on that facility. And I can pass this around too, and it looks like one of the driveway widths at the property line is about 48 feet. Another one is 52 feet. And then a third one that's primarily for cars is about 30 feet. And then the second sheet I'll pass this around too is a store we built a year ago, maybe a little bit north of a year ago, over on University Avenue near the new festival facility. And that one I think Paul might know, but I think that was a PUD situation.
Yeah.
And the driveway widths there are basically 35 feet at the right-of-way line. The measurements on here show 36 and a half, but that's the dimensions of the back of the curb, so that a little bit different shows up. And then the third sheet is just the turning limits on that site near Festival and University Avenue. Kind of show the conditions there. I can pass that around too. There's a couple of copies here as well. Again, the first sheet is the store at East Mason and Huron. You can kind of see the widths of those driveways. And our proposal here would be to see if we could get relief to have driveways that are 35 feet at the right-of-way line.
How far at the curb?
I don't know if they're dimensioned officially on this submittal that we have here. I guess the one that I'm seeing on Huron's got 5-foot flares or tapers. I forget which one these are.
Anyway, you want 35 and perhaps something on the order of 45 at the curb versus 10 feet less than that.
Yeah, typically there's a 2.5-foot taper on each side. I mean, you can go as wide as you want, I suppose. Typically it's 2.5.
Okay. So the concern of the ordinance really would be the 25 versus the variance request for 35.
Right. At the right-of-way line will dictate pretty much what the opening will be at the curb line.
And we have a note here from traffic, and he's okay with what's being proposed. He agrees with most of what your argument is regarding the truck. So I certainly have no problem with this. Questions, gentlemen?
Just a clarification, I think, from you, but I can do that later.
So one thing, there are physical constraints in the center of the roadway, is that right? Because I was looking for them in the photographs, I couldn't see them, but a truck can't there's a physical.
Yeah, there's
Okay.
unmountable mediums that are on this side
Right.
here, and apparently right about here. But then this is just straight, this is mountable there.
Okay.
Well, I'll just ask my question right now. Is it, so going back earlier, is the 25-foot driveway with what type of zoning?
It's for commercial and industrial properties.
So when does it go to 35? What type of
When you
zoning?
have dual axle vehicles, when you have larger trucks, then you're allowed to go to that 35 feet. The dimension at the property line is always 25 feet.
Got it.
Then it goes to 30 for your typical parking lot, your commercial parking lot.
Okay.
If you have an industrial user who needs something broader based on the vehicle that they use, then it can go to 35. So this is a case where it could be 25 and 35. So you're varying those two dimensions.
And I guess that's what I'm getting at, is because Quick Trip, the way they build their buildings, their delivery trucks, I see it over at the one on Walnut, they have semis coming in
Yeah.
and dropping off products, gas, fuel, whatever it is, and so it's technically a 35-foot use for those circumstances. The problem is that 85% of the other time, it's used for cars.
Right.
Forgive my bad math, but you know what I mean? That's kind of what we're dealing with, so it's a dual-use parking lot, driveway.
Sure. I mean, gas stations kind of present that issue, I suppose. Your typical parking lot might not for an office use or something like that.
Correct. That was gonna be my next question. Do we see that, if a different gas station was here, would we see that frequently, since you have that single use for semis?
You
coming
might,
in?
but I guess it's based on the operator and their delivery system, and, you know, that's unique to them, I guess.
Okay, cool. I don't have any other questions.
Motion would be in order.
Oh, is there, any other discussion?
Oh, yeah. We want to discuss.
Go ahead.
Technically,
I thought we were, I jumped the gun, so.
Close the question and answer.
Right.
I motion to approve unless there's no other discussion.
No, I thought there wanted to be a discussion, so.
No, I just normally don't we ask them to excuse?
Yeah.
and-
Yeah,
We
but
deliberate.
sometimes
At the end, the last one. can
Sometimes
sit
the
up.
last guy gets.
Don't jump the shark on
Okay,
process.
I got you.
No, I have no discussion. I'm sorry, I gave that impression. I
Okay.
motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion made and seconded to approve the variance requested for the Quick Trip on Humboldt Road. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Were there any specified dimensions that go along? So we know it's 35 at the
I guess
property line. Is there a dimension at the curb line?
it would be as presented to us in the variance request. With as many as, or as little as we normally get for dimensions.
Okay.
I guess where you got, you're good, sir.
Thank you
Yeah,
guys,
your
appreciate your
variance.
time.
5 feet on either side. Is that right? It looks like 5 feet on either side.
Typically, the taper's 2.5. I mean, if you want to specify something that,
Well, no, I'm just saying, we just approved it as proposed. Is that what it is, 5 feet taper?
There's 5 feet on either side that I've seen on the drawing on Huron, and the one on Humboldt has that little bit of a trail to it. I don't have a perfect dimension on that, but it is shown on the plan,
Yeah.
how that would work.
Okay.
If you'd be good with as shown on the plans, that's what we'll submit in dimension.
Yeah. Yep.
Further business that we want to discuss? Do we have anything else? We have,
Well, next
You're good.
month.
Thank
Do you
you.
want some of this stuff back?
I can take it if you guys don't need it.
Do you need to discuss next meeting?
let's keep one. Let's keep one for the official record, and I've got this packet. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thanks, Paul.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we still have the informational regarding next meeting and issues we want to talk about. It looks like we don't have a quorum.
we don't. And I won't be here either, so.
Oh,
But we would have other staff, so,
it's that time of year when
yeah.
Take people
a lot of
vacation.
people head south.
So we could do a special meeting later in the month, or just move it to the April meeting. We'll play it by ear and see what comes in and what doesn't come in. keep you apprised of that. But at this point, we're going to cancel the 18th.
Who can make April's? Because I might have to miss.
I can make it.
I can make April.
And it
Okay.
goes back to,
Because I don't want
I
to
think
miss.
February, March.
If there's not a quorum for April.
Let me see where that is regarding.
Yeah, Noel said he couldn't be here for April.
no, didn't see.
Oh, was it February, March?
I thought it was
February,
February,
March.
March.
February,
Oh,
March.
okay.
So we would be meeting during Easter week, the Monday
15th.
after Palm Sunday. Yeah, okay.
The 15th, Tuesday?
Yep.
Yes.
And then
Great. Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna have an issue there, and at that meeting, we can maybe talk more about the training session, and we still have an election of officers that we have to do every year, so that would be included in there too.
Yep.
Otherwise, I think we're done, gentlemen. Unless you guys wanna talk.
I just want to say, if you do move the date in March, if it goes later than the current date, I'm basically gone the last 2 weeks of March.
Oh, you are, okay.
So if you go the week before, I'm here. If it's the week after, I'm gone those 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'm just a flip of that. I'll be here on the 20th and thereafter.
I think we're shooting for April.
Okay.
April.
Yeah, you're
Okay.
gonna be gone, so.
So you headed to Mexico or?
Florida, southern Florida, yeah.
As far south in Florida you can go.
On the Gulf side, yes. We should cancel on it.
Yes, that's probably a good idea.
Motion to adjourn.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.